Or what is the employee experience? Now, the employee experience consists of every single interaction an employee has with their organization throughout their work cycle. This means that it begins from the moment we start the prospecting and hiring process, moves along through the onboarding and development phase, and eventually retires the employee from the organization. Traditionally, this responsibility for managing and creating an employee experience has been given to the Human Resources Department. But what we've been seeing throughout the last few years, especially with the pandemic, is that this experience does not depend solely on human resources, but on the entire work ecosystem. Which makes sense, really, since we interact much more with our managers, our colleagues, even other departments within our organization, rather than HR on a day-to-day basis. This means that a positive employee experience must be built. It must be something that is designed as an organization, not only led by HR, but also incorporating every single department and leaders throughout the organization that can help foster this employee engagement throughout their life cycle. Why? Because a good employee experience strategy can reduce absences, it can increase productivity, profitability, and even reduce our turnover rates. And we know with the pandemic and with everything that's happening in the economy right now, turnover has become a ridiculous problem within HR. And the problem with designing a complete or a wholesome employee experience is that generally we think of that same experience as something that should be 100% within the work dimension. We consider mostly, if not only, the results that we need to get from our employees, when we should really be considering all the other dimensions that impact the employee experience throughout their time with us as a company. Because if the pandemic taught us anything, is that we cannot completely separate our employees' personal life from their work. These two things are interconnected, especially when we brought everybody home office or people that are still hybrid today. We can't really split the two anymore. There can't be one without the other. Now, fortunately, Gallup, the consulting firm, through its thousands of annual employee surveys in a bunch of different industries all around the world, has defined 4 categories or dimensions that we must consider, or that I think we should consider, when designing a great employee experience. This is commonly known as the Gallup's hierarchy of engagement. So, considering this as the 4 dimensions of creating a good employee experience or a better employee experience, we need to start from the basics. We consider the basic needs of our employees, then we move up to the personal contribution dimension, which is what is required of our employees, right? We move on to team dynamics, and then finally, we get to the personal growth dimension. Now, I know me repeating dimension a lot makes this sound like a sci-fi webinar, but stick with me. All these dimensions are composed of 4 strategic points that we must consider, or that we should consider. By incorporating them into our employee experience strategy, we can have way more engaged and active employees within our organizations, which will help us with results at the end of the year and ongoing forever.